on a crutch. Raise your hand. Who's in? Let's go. So I got to tell you guys a real quick story here. So we're sitting in the office, and Darren Jensen, our CEO, has called all of us Pro 10s, and he said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a Pro 10 tour. We're going to send you guys around the country. And so, of course, Carrie's like, well, I want to go to Florida. And I'm like, hey, I want to go to Florida too. Who's been to, it's Edmont Key? Edmont Key? You guys been to Edmont Key? Big stones that are out, big concrete blocks that are out there, okay? So I'm following Braylon off of the blocks. She's like, come on. I jump off the rocks, and I hit the bottom. There's barnacles down there. So I get on the boat, and my leg is entirely covered in blood. It shredded my knee. I know you can't see it up here, but it's 2 or 3 times bigger than the other one. But I'm happy to be here, you guys. Are you excited to be here tonight? We're going to go through a lot of stuff here. One of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got involved in this network marketing game. And then if you guys want to stick around, we're going to answer some questions, do a little training. For those of you that want to stick around, we'll answer some of the things that we experience as we're trying to build this industry. Is that good? Yes. Okay. How many of you guys have been to Utah? That's where I live. So I've got a house in central Utah and another one down in southern Utah. So I've got snow and I've got hot, because southern Utah's a lot like Arizona. Have any of you guys driven up I-15 in Utah? Have you seen the castles that network marketing companies build in that state? Have you seen them? They're huge, okay? So what happened with me is, well, let me ask you guys this question. Who's been in the military? Anybody been in the military here? Thank you, I appreciate that. My wife and I met in the military. We were in the Air Force, so we were up in Montana at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Great Falls. Anybody know where that's at? Okay. We were security police, both of us. So we both had handcuffs. I will leave the story at that point right there. But it's where I got my first introduction to network marketing. How many of you guys have ever been in network marketing before, in any other companies? Raise your hands high so I can see them. Okay? Any of you guys ever been involved in Amway? Loud and proud. Come on, raise them up. Raise them up. More than once? More than twice? Anybody? Okay, I joined Amway when I was in the military. I was in there for about 6 months. I learned what it was. I thought after 6 months that I was the only person on the planet who hadn't heard of it. Right? That's what it was. I didn't have a bad taste in my mouth about the industry, though. I just said, you know what, maybe this isn't going to work for me, and I finished my Air Force career. So then I joined a company called Nu Skin. Who's heard of Nu Skin? Okay, anybody been involved in Nu Skin? Divisions of Nu Skin, Big Planet, IDN, any of those? Okay, was it out here? Well, I joined that company, and at 25 years old, I was making $2,500 a month. And I thought, I've done it. I've hit the jackpot. This is going to be it for me. This network marketing thing works. I'm excited, and then guess what happened? 2 million people that were in Nu Skin prior to me spread the news really quick about the new idea. And all of a sudden, it was pretty hard to find someone to talk to again. Pretty soon, it was hard for not just me, but everybody else on my team, and our check went away. And guess what I did? I'll never do this again. Who can relate to that? Any of you guys? Okay, any of you guys mix blood with your spouse and say, if I ever try to do network marketing again, you have permission to do whatever you have to do to stop me? Okay, that's what we did, and we decided to just get kind of into the traditional world. So I became a real estate appraiser, and my wife became an insurance adjuster. Anybody in real estate? Okay, was it really fun in the early 2000s? No, 2000s, it was awesome. The early 2000s, I could appraise a house one day, and it seemed like it was worth twice as much the next day. That's what it seemed like. I mean, I know that's not how it went. How good was it in 09? Not quite so good, huh? Okay? So what happened to me, you guys, in Utah, which is where I lived as a real estate appraiser, I got introduced to every network marketing company on the planet. I'd be in someone's house, and they would say, hey, I think you'd be really, really good at what I'm doing here. Can I show you? So out of courtesy, right? I mean, I'm in their house. I would sit down and listen. But guess who I became? I became the guy that asked all the hard questions. Can any of you relate? I was the guy that you did not want to run into and talk to about network marketing, because I was going to ask you, how much money are you making? Where's your proof? Does your product have any proof? Any science at all? Well, when you get some, or when you get a check, let me know, right? Can any of you guys relate to that? And I did that for years and years and years, until one day I got a phone call from a friend of mine. He said, Tyler, if you're my friend, you're going to show up tonight. Who got invited here tonight with that line? Come on. Nobody? Nobody? Okay? That's how I got invited to my meeting. Okay? If you're my friend, you're going to show up and listen to this guy tonight. And I said, dude, I'm your friend whether I show up or not. Count me out. Right? And that's when the begging and the crying started. And I could feel those tears through the phone. That's how it went. So he's like, dude, I'll do anything I have to do to get you here. These guys are driving 2.5 hours. I need you to be here. I'm going to be embarrassed if no one's in the room. So I went. Me and one other lady. How many of you guys heard Tasha tell this story at Elite Academy? Mm-hmm. Was that funny? Yeah, okay. Me and one other lady, she falls asleep in the chair, so they focus all their attention on me, right? This is back when presentations were like 2 and 3 hours long, and they'd do slides, and they had to talk about every product and every ingredient, right? I'm just going, man, when is this going to be over, right? Who can relate to that? Who's been invited to a meeting like that? We all have, haven't we? Okay? Well, at that night, when I was getting ready to leave, one of the guys that was there, he was the president of that company, and he said, Tyler, if you'll sign up tonight, we'll come back and do another meeting for you in 2 weeks. I said, well, what if you don't show up? He goes, we'll give you all your money back. And I thought, these guys aren't driving 2.5 hours. I'm good. So I signed up. And that's when the story that Tasha told at Elite Academy really happened. I come home, she goes, did you sign up for that thing? And I go, you have nothing to worry about. Because they weren't coming back, okay? Now I'm going to make this story a little bit shorter because a couple of weeks later I'm sitting in the car appraising houses with my mentor, the guy who taught me how to appraise houses. And I get a phone call and it goes kind of like this. Hey Tyler, where you at? I'm like, where do you think I'm at, dude? I'm in the same place I am every night. I'm appraising houses, right? He goes, well, those guys are here. And I go, what guys? You think I was interested? I wasn't. I go, what guys? And he goes, you know, those guys. They said they were coming back in 2 weeks. When are you going to be here? And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be there, right? My mentor here is, now let me ask you guys something. Out here in Florida, if you say you're going to do something, do you do it? Were you taught to do that? Were your parents like that? Okay? Same thing goes where I'm at. My mentor is a great, great mentor. He looked at me and he said, Tyler, are you supposed to be someplace? I've been exposed. Right? And I go, you know, it's just one of those network marketing deals. These people get stood up all the time. Let's finish our work. That's what I said. He goes, nope. He goes, you said you were going to be there. We're going. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think he woke up that morning and said, I really hope Tyler takes me to a network marketing meeting? Okay? So we go, and he looks at me, and this is his words, and this is my first little piece of advice to the guest in the room here tonight. He goes, Tyler, I know you think you're doing great. I know you think you're doing well. But you might want to have a backup plan. The real estate game isn't going to be like this forever. You might want to have a backup plan. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's really fickle. Real estate's up and down, up and down. This is like in 02, 03, okay? So I go, does this have to be the backup plan? Right? He goes, just do it. Just try it. Well, the other thing I was taught is that if you're going to do something, you do it. Right? You don't just do it halfway, you do it. So I did it. I went out and I fought with Tasha. I was on the couch for a week. I fought with Tasha. Fought with her all the time. There's a lot more to that story, okay? But I was real smart at one moment. After being really not smart, I looked at her and I said, well, if I make any money, it's all mine. You don't get any of it. Right? She goes, well, you're not talking to my friends. You know? The first check I got was about $3 grand. I spent it all on her. I bought her diamond earrings so I could get off the couch. Yeah. And I bought her LASIK eye surgery so she could have some vision. She's giving me the boo up here. She's like, how many times do I have to hear that, you know? Anyways, you guys, about a year into that thing, I replaced all my appraisal income. 2 years in, I'd replaced all of her insurance adjusting income. That's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. I lived in a little teeny town of 5,000 where you had to drive an hour and a half to any major city. Little teeny town. Everybody knows everybody there. I had to drive an hour and a half to find a major city. I'd replaced about 15 grand a month worth of income in 2 years. And that's when I decided I might want to figure this thing out. Because you guys think that it was all me? What do you think? Or do you think that maybe the circumstances I was in played a little teeny role in my success? What do you think? It probably did, doesn't it? I started to realize that part of the success I was having is that this company didn't have 2 million people talking about it yet. I started to realize that this company was young enough and exciting enough, and people were actually making money in this company. I started to realize that it wasn't just me, that there were a lot of other factors, and I started to study that. And I started to say, what other things need to be in place? So let me ask you guys a question really quick. Does anybody ever make it in network marketing? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, who do you think they are primarily? First, last, beginning, top, bottom, and where? What do you think? Kind of those ones that got to hear about that thing and grow with the company. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I'm not saying it's the only way. I'm just saying that if you could pick, wouldn't you pick growing with the company? Wouldn't you want to be there and experience capturing a market? Wouldn't you want to do that? Okay? So I started to really analyze those things. I started to ask other questions like, you know, if I could turn the clock back on a New Skin, or a Mary Kay, or an Amway, or an Avon, or a Tupperware, like Carrie, okay? What if I could turn the clock back on that? Would I join those companies? How about you? Would you guys do that? Even knowing everything you know about those companies, would you, if you could turn the clock back to the perfect time, would you join them? Believe it or not, I have people tell me no. And I'm like, disqualified. If you say no to perfect, you're out. Right? I mean, I'm like, look, if I could turn the clock back on Mary Kay, I'd have showed up tonight in my pink Cadillac. Right? Proud of my pink Cadillac. I'd bring Dave up here, would figure out his best color. Right? Right? If you could make it perfect, you have to say yes. So I started to ask questions like, what does perfect really look like? Okay? Well, what does it look like, you guys? What does perfect look like? Knowing what you know about those big companies, if you could join a company that, I don't know, let's say, what do you think they have? 2 million, 3 million people, or a couple 100,000? What do you think? They got 2 or 3 million people, don't you think? So if you had a magic wand and you could turn that clock back, where would you turn it back? Would it be fair to say the first 10% so you could grow with the other 90? So you kind of missed the chaos of those first few years, right? Don't really want to be there when there's a lot of turnover and chaos going on, when the companies are trying to figure things out. Turn it back to that first 10% so you can capture the next 90%. Well, that would be a couple 100,000 people, right? Guess how many distributors we have in Lifevantage? 80,000 distributors. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Did you pay close attention to what Carrie was saying up here about these products? Did you? Did you pay close attention to that? So not only are you in the first 3% of this company, but you're in front of a product line that is setting a different standard for this industry. Is that good? Yes. Okay. Is that good? Yeah. If you could turn the clock back on any of those companies, would you want those companies to be transparent? Would you want them to have to tell you how much money is in the bank? Yes. Would you? Would you want them to have to tell you how much inventory they have? Yes. You'd want to be able to see that, huh? Because we've all seen those companies where the owners say, oh no, we're great, we're all good. And the next day they shut their doors. And all that work and all that effort you put in is gone now, right? It's part of the reasons that give our industry kind of a bad perception in some places, right? Because we've all seen that. Our company's publicly held. Did you guys know that? We're traded on the NASDAQ. Our stock symbol is LFVN. Go look us up. Every single quarter we tell you exactly how much money's in the bank. We tell you how much inventory. If you want to know how much our CEO makes, you can find out. Do you like that? Do you realize that our company, because we're publicly held, has to tell you everything that comes out, good, bad, or ugly with our company? We have to report it all. Do you like that? Yep. It's kind of nice to know that, right? The transparency of what's there. Okay? So we want to be a part of products that are setting a new standard. We want to be a part of a company that is not already built out. We'd want to have transparency. What else would you guys want? What if you had control over how the compensation plan worked? Would you like that? So let me tell you how this thing went down, okay? I got invited down to San Diego. I got to meet, at the time, the guy that was trying to get this product to have a voice, because like Carrie was saying, we were being sold in CVS and Walgreens and places like that. And unless someone was standing there, the conversation was so far ahead of the curve on antioxidants, okay? It was so far ahead, no one knew who we were. That's why we sold a half a bottle a month. That's why. So we needed to give the product a voice. We had to have a distributor for us. It had to be talked about at kitchen tables. So he said, we got to go into network marketing. Well, he invited me down. I'd had a little bit of success in another company. So I kind of got recruited, basically. But this was their story when they came to us. They said, guys, we're broke. We don't have any money. And we're like, that's not the best pitch I've ever heard. What do you mean you're broke? Why are we here? You know, why are we here? And he goes, well, we think we have something here, and we just kind of want your opinion. So they showed us the that ABC primetime. Were you guys impressed with that ABC primetime? Yeah. You know what I saw? I saw something you could push play on, and you did not have to be Carrie, you didn't have to be me, you just simply push play, and you show people. I saw a message that could be told over and over and over and over again, and it said the same thing every time you push play. That's what I saw. I saw that, you know what, you don't have to be an expert. You want to know why? That ABC primetime was leading to some peer-reviewed studies. It was leading to some studies that were being done at places that we respect. LSU, Harvard, American Heart Association, Ohio State. It was being done in places that we as a society consider the best place to have your science come from. And I realized real quick that if these things come back positive, all I got to do is point to them. I don't have to know all those fancy words. Do I have to know those? No, I just got to tell people it exists, right? So we said to them, and this is again back in the beginning, well, are they going to be good? And they're like, well, you know, we're publicly held. And we're like, well, we got to know, right? We're not just going to put our reputation on the line if they're not going to be good. So they made us sign a bunch of NDAs. They told us that they were all going to be good. And so we said, okay, they better be. Anything else for us? And they said, well, if you guys will join us, we will do a capital raise. We'll go to the investors out there and see if we can give you a year to get this company off the ground. We're like, okay, what does that look like? And they said, it's $5 million. We think we can get $5 million. And we said, okay, what else? And here's the ticket for me. They said, we will let you tell us how to pay you.
Woo! Woo! Nice.
Right? Now, how many of you guys want to go to your boss tomorrow? Hey, I just found out. I just found out. I get to tell you what I'm worth, and you have to accept it, right? We will let you tell us how to pay you. Now, I got real excited about that one. I'm like, man, I'll show you how I was dancing, but I have a bad knee. So I said, this is an awesome, awesome situation right here, right? Now, does that come with a lot of responsibility? It really does, doesn't it? Because let me ask you guys some other questions. Those of you who have been involved in network marketing, have you ever been in a company where all the money just goes to the top?
Yep.
You have, haven't you? You've experienced that. And what do we tell everyone else? What do we tell you guys? Well, when you get there, right? It's really, really good when you get there. But it's such a small number of people that at some point you come to the realization that it's probably not going to be you. What does that cause? It causes attrition. It causes, have you guys ever heard of the leaky bucket syndrome? You ever heard of the churn and burn? You ever heard of these things? Okay? That's because you're trying to replace people as fast as they're quitting on you. So we started to ask questions like, can we affect that? Can we make a decision with the compensation plan that will stop people from quitting? What do you think? Think you could if you guys had the keys to the compensation plan? How do you do it? We believe that you do it by putting money in their pockets early. We believe that you do it by getting money in their pockets as soon as you possibly can, so they can afford to put gas in their car, so they can afford to take someone out to dinner, so they can afford to go to the elite academies and be trained. That's what we believe. What do you guys think?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe you don't pay it all at the top. Maybe you spread it out just a little bit so that people won't quit, so that they have a chance financially to learn how this game is played. What do you think?
Yes.
Someone asked this question. Those of you that are in the company, if you've received a paycheck, raise your hand. You keep them up. I want all the guests to look around. Okay? Now, while they're up, when you guys were coming through that front door, did I ask every one of you to raise your hand when I said that? No. Do you think I was scared to ask that question? No. Why? Because not only are we setting a new standard in the expectation for validity of your products, not only are we setting a new expectation for the science that companies are going to have to compete with us, but we are changing the conversation in the compensation plan as well. Do you guys like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
I love it. Now, we didn't know everything. I mean, it was all just being modeled. Okay, it was just all being modeled, and that was fine. But how many of you guys have seen our range of income report? Anybody seen that? Okay. The very first rank in our company is called a Pro 1. We have 10 of them. Okay. What is the average income at Pro 1? $95. 92 to 95 bucks, right? What is the required personal volume at Pro 1? It's $100. So if you're in this business and you hit the first rank and you've almost got your entire personal volume covered, are you quitting?
No.
Makes it a little easier, doesn't it? Okay? So here we sit today, 7 years ago, after we've come to all of these things, we finally saved a company after a year. 7 years ago, and Carrie and I had this conversation many times. We were like, man, if the day could only come. If the day could only come that we could attract some people with experience. If the day could only come when our product had real science. If the day could only come that we had our compensation plan validated just through the years and years of people participating in this. If that day could only come, we really think we have something big here. Well, 1 year ago, Darren Jensen got hired at our company. How many of you guys have met Darren Jensen? Okay. Let me give you Darren Jensen's background. He's got 26 years experience in this thing. He was in Amway. He got recruited there from New Skin. His first company was the big New Skin company. Got recruited to Amway. His family then went out and started a couple companies. That first company that I was in, he had just sold it to Nature's Sunshine. We almost crossed paths, but we didn't get to meet each other. He had just sold it to Nature's Sunshine, so he had started a startup company. He also started another company called Agile, and most recently he was with Jeunesse. He was with them as he went from 200 to 800 million. So you've got a CEO now with 26 years worth of experience in the big ones, the little ones, the middle growing ones, okay? He gets hired 1 year ago. You want to know what he did to all of us Pro 10s? Carrie will laugh about this. I don't know if she's ever heard me say this, okay? He calls us all into the office. So we all go in. He goes, I just want to get to know you guys. And we were like, okay, we'd like to get to know you too. He goes, guys, here's my plan. This is where I'm going to go, or this is what I'm going to do, or this is where I want the company to be, and here's how I'm going to get there. And there was a couple of Pro 10s that were like, well, I've got some questions about part of that. And they asked their questions or gave their opinions, and he looked at them and said, well, I appreciate your opinion. Here's where I'm going, and here's how I'm going to get there. And there was another Pro 10 that raised their hands. I'll spare them the embarrassment, okay? But they raised their hands and were like, I got questions about that. And he goes, this is where I'm going, and this is how I'm going to get there. And I went, I'm good. I'm just going to watch what happens, right? I wasn't born yesterday, right? You watch for a minute, okay? So then he said something to us, and I can remember going out in the hallway laughing. He goes, guys, there's 4 major categories in this industry. There's 4 of them that we have to position ourselves in front, okay? There's the energy category. You guys already have a product, but we're going to clean that packaging up and really make it something that people are excited about, okay? You've got the skincare, and we're going to do something big in the skincare category because you guys have got a great big hole in the skincare category. We're going to fix that. There's the weight management category, and then there's the nutrigenomic or nutraceutical, kind of the nutrition category. He goes, you guys got a couple of those covered, but the first thing I'm going to do is cover that big hole in the skincare line. He goes, I'm going to have a product ready for you guys in 90 days that is going to be exciting for everyone. And I can remember going out in the hallway and going, yeah, we'll see, right? I can remember this because we're a public company. You've got to get a lot of signatures in a public company. It doesn't just happen that fast. I'm like, yeah, this guy. I wonder how long he's going to be here. Right? This is what we're saying. Well, guess what happened 90 days later? We had microlift. Who likes microlift?
Woo!
Big deal, right? Big deal, right? Okay? He then comes to us and he goes, hey, we're going to have a weight management system in place by December. I'm like, maybe, right? I'm not going to bet against this guy twice, right? I mean, the odds are, right? What happened in December? Weight management came out, okay? How many of you guys are using weight management? Anybody loving that stuff? Okay? You guys are loving that stuff? We then had another product come out, Nerf One. You guys loving Nerf One?
Yes.
Okay? We then had some really, really nice things happen. Things that I don't know that Darren had any control of because he wasn't here when they started. How many of you guys are familiar with the NIA study? The National Institutes of Aging study.
Woo!
Do you kind of like that one? A little bit? Only the biggest one we have, right? 7 to 10 year study. The National Institutes of Aging are coming out. They're going to say, we're going to find any product that we can prove. They want to use big words like prove will extend life. So they find 5 of them in the world. 4 of which are some kind of drug cocktail, side effects, all kinds of stuff. And 1 nutrigenomic product. 1 product that is not a drug cocktail. That 1 product happens to be called Protandem. Right? Not only is it on the list, it's the #1 product on the list. I mean, 7 years ago, we were just hoping this day would come. It's here. It's here right now. Okay? It's here right now. What has that led to? Well, it's only led to growing from 48 million when Darren first got here in a quarter to 52 million to 56 million. We're getting ready to report again in a couple weeks. I mean, you can do the math. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be. 48, 52, 56. Right?
Woo!
That got noticed by the Russell 3000. It got noticed by Utah. What are the top companies in Utah? We've got product placement in movies. Forbes articles being written about us. Remember earlier when I said if you could turn the clock back to the perfect time, what would it look like? Is it kind of looking like right now? You guys getting it? You seeing it? Is there any wonder why Darren called all the Pro 10s in and said, guys, I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what your differences are. We're going to do a Pro 10 tour and we're going to go tell the world that it is time to take notice of Lifevantage. Okay? It is time right now to take notice of what this company is doing. Now, I travel all over this country doing trainings every single month. I do 4-hour trainings. I mean, so about midnight tonight. Okay? I travel all over this country and I tell people your timing is better today than it was when we joined. Why? Because all of the chaos has been removed. Does that make sense? Yes. The foundation has been laid. There's 80,000 distributors. The validation on the product, the validation in the compensation plan is setting an example that this industry has been begging for 50 years. The regulatory environment that's out there right now is going to be pointing people in our direction. Companies are going to say, is there a company out there that can meet the expectations that you guys have? The fact is, we're one of very, very few. Okay? So is timing better today than it was 7 years ago? Yeah. It is. Okay? So we're going to be here for a little while, you guys. It is a little after 8, I guess, right? 2 hours later on my clock. Okay? We're going to be here for a little while. We're going to wrap this section up with some information from one of the guys at corporate that Darren brought in. Now let me tell you what Darren does when he's trying to bring people in. He's not bringing anybody in. Okay? He's not just going out there and looking at a list of names and putting them on a board and throwing darts at him to pick who he wants here. He's bringing in the best of the best of the best that he's had an experience with over the last 26 years. He's bringing people in that can help him. This is where I'm going, and here's how I'm going to get there. He's bringing these people in. So we were really thrilled. Carrie and I we were ecstatic when Dave called us and said, hey, I want to come out and be a part of what you guys are doing. So I want to take about, well, whatever time he's willing to give us. And I want you guys to hear from him. He's going to tell you the direction of the company, some of the things he's doing to empower us. Is that good? Yeah. And then what we will do is, for those of you that got to go, go. That's cool. I mean, whatever you need to do, go. But we're going to stick around and we're going to answer the hard questions that any of you guys have. Is that fair? Yeah. All right. Our senior executive field development corporate superstar, awesome Dave Fletcher. All right. How about these guys? How about Carrie and Tyler, bud? That's all.
So, I was sitting up at the front of the room. How many of you are here for the first time? All right, thank you for coming. This is actually my first time in Tampa as well, for this company. But it's not my first time in Tampa. It's first time in Tampa for Lifevantage, but I have a special place in my heart for Tampa because Tampa is actually where I started part of one of the companies that I started out of Dallas, Texas. Tampa was one of our first markets that we came to. So over on West Shore Drive, you guys know the Ramada Hotel over there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We spent, I don't know how many hours over at that hotel. So when I was driving back down West Shore Drive last night, I was like, this is like almost like coming home. So I'm super thrilled to be here. Thank you, Tyler, for a great introduction. Hopefully I can live up to that. But first and foremost, I have to tell you, if you don't already know how great you have it here at Lifevantage, a big part of the reason it's so good here is because you're leaders.
Woo! Woo!
And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. How many of you heard of Lifevantage 7 years ago, in 2009? How many of you heard of Lifevantage? A couple of you? A few of you? I did. I'd heard of Lifevantage 7 years ago in 2009. And they approached me. They wanted me to work for Lifevantage. And I said no. And you want to know why? For all the reasons that Carrie and Tyler were talking about. Great product, incredible leaders. But there weren't the people at the company who had the vision to get Lifevantage to where it can be, right? Now a year ago, that all changed. All of that changed. And I was doing something different. And I'll tell you a little bit about this because this is really cool. For the last 4 years, I've been on the West Coast in Silicon Valley. And I've actually been selling software. And I've been selling software to direct selling network marketing companies. Isn't that cool? So if you throw out a name of another network marketing company, we're not going to name names, but if you named one, chances are pretty good that I've been in their boardroom, I've talked to their CEO, I've talked to their vice president. I know as much about those companies as I know just about any other company. And what I saw with Lifevantage 7 years ago was incredible product, incredible leaders, but no corporate vision, at least not the vision that needed to be there in order to take this company where it can be. But a year ago, and this is a secret, I didn't tell Darren this, I didn't tell Justin Rose this, but a year ago when Darren came on board, he took the CEO role, and he started bringing people on like Ryan Goodman, who's the Chief Marketing Officer, incredible talent. He brought Justin Rose, and I've known Justin for a long time. I'd say Justin's one of the top 5 execs in this space. He's awesome. Total, just genuinely good person. And I went home and I said, man, what they're doing at Lifevantage is actually pretty cool. And I said, if they called me, I would go. So 2 weeks later, Justin calls me. What do you think I said? Yes. I don't know, I didn't. I said, I don't know. Because I couldn't let him know how excited I was about it, because I was busy. I was in Silicon Valley. I was doing a Silicon Valley startup. It was like super cool and sexy, and we had like awesome people on our board of directors. Anybody heard of a company called NetSuite?
Oh yeah.
NetSuite, they're a huge Silicon Valley-based company. They're worth about $1 billion. Their co-founder was on our board. Awesome guy. Shamath Palihapitiya, anybody heard that name? He co-owns the Golden State Warriors, and he worked at Facebook. He was the VP of product at Facebook. He was on our board. Wow. I mean, these were like cool people that I was hanging out with. I was like, you guys are cool, but this is a lot cooler. I want to go do this. And so I left. I left this awesome Silicon Valley startup and came to Lifevantage because for the first time, I felt like Lifevantage had all of the pieces together at the same time, with nothing but runway ahead of us to get this thing going, right? Most companies in this business, when you get to about $200 million, you do one of 2 things. One of 3 things, really. Most companies either stay put or they fall down. That's what most companies in this space do. Because it's a special kind of corporate vision and talent that gets to take that company from $200 million to $800, to $1 billion, to multiple billions of dollars. There's only a few companies in this space that have actually done that. And it's not just anybody who can do that, but I'm telling you, the corporate vision at Lifevantage is that vision, and that's the right people who are building this business. The things that have happened over the last year, Lifevantage is the #1 stock in the state of Utah. That's pretty cool, right? It's in the top 6 nationally in terms of return on investment. I mean, it's amazing. It's totally awesome. But what's really cool about Lifevantage is not just where we came from and where we are right now, but it's where we're going. Because, Carrie and Tyler have done a great job, so I won't take too much more of your time. We give as much time to them as we possibly can. But I want to instill into you some confidence, because if I was sitting in your seat and I was looking at this for the first time, and I'm here from a corporate guy, what I would want to hear is the confidence that we know where we came from, we know where we are, and we know where we're going. Because it's one thing to put it on a whiteboard and say, this is where we're going to go. It's another thing entirely to say, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to get there, right? How many of you, the economy's changing, right? How many of you have taken an Uber ride before, right? And how many of you ordered products? I know you've ordered products off Amazon. That's a dumb question, right? But how many taxis does Uber own today? Not very many, right? Okay. How much content does Facebook actually produce? None. So what we're looking at Lifevantage Corporate is we're identifying the trends that are not happening today, but the trends that are going to be out there 5 years from now. And we're positioning the company so that you can take advantage of what's happening in this economy right now. This whole economy is going to look very, very different in the next 5 years. And we're going to be the company that positions you in front of those trends so that you can take advantage of those. So when we're multiple billions of dollars, you'll be participating in that growth.